The morning sun rises over the vibrant township of KwaMashu, but the atmosphere remains cold and unforgiving for Pondo as he steps out into the busy streets. Carrying the heavy emotional weight of his recently exposed past, every step he takes seems to draw unwanted attention from the surrounding crowd. Everywhere he turns, familiar faces, neighbors, and old acquaintances target him with relentless ridicule, sharp glances, and harsh whispers. They openly mock his past decisions, refusing to show any sympathy for his current plight, particularly when it comes to his choice to abandon Hau and Shaliffy during their most vulnerable moments years ago. Pondo desperately tries to maintain his composure, keeping his eyes lowered as he attempts to walk away from the mounting tension. However, the biting words of his community hit deep, forcing him to confront the painful reality that his past actions have destroyed his standing in the neighborhood. People on the street corners make it abundantly clear that he can no longer hide behind excuses or expect any form of local respect. The sheer volume of public criticism leaves Pondo feeling entirely alienated in a place he once called home. As he continues down the road, the relentless taunts build a growing wall of isolation around him, setting a somber tone for his entire day and signaling that the road to personal redemption in KwaMashu will be nearly impossible to travel without facing severe social consequences. Over at KwaNjomane, the local hub is alive with continuous activity as morning patrons gather around the tables to enjoy their meals and catch up on town news. The atmosphere inside is thick with animated conversations, but one specific topic quickly dominates every corner of the room: Pondo's sudden return and his shameful history with Shaliffy. Local patrons speak loudly, sharing exaggerated stories, personal opinions, and harsh judgments regarding fatherhood, personal responsibility, and moral betrayal. The venue fills with loud laughter and sarcastic commentary as residents break down every detail of the scandal, treating the family's deep personal trauma as nothing more than daily entertainment. Meanwhile, the floor staff and service workers attempt to remain focused on their daily routines, serving drinks and clearing plates, but the persistent chatter makes it completely impossible to ignore the intense drama consuming the neighborhood. Regular customers debate whether Pondo deserves a second chance or if he should be driven out of the area entirely for his past neglect. Every time the entrance door opens, conversations briefly pause, with everyone looking up in anticipation of seeing who might walk in next to deliver more gossip. The gathering at KwaNjomane highlights just how rapidly news travels through the community, transforming private family struggles into a public spectacle. The shared opinions of the patrons reflect a collective community stance that refuses to let past wrongdoings be easily forgotten or swept under the rug. In a quieter section of the neighborhood away from the noise, Shaliffy meets with a trusted confidant to process the heavy emotional ordeal that has resurfaced in her life. Sitting down over warm cups of tea, she speaks openly and candidly about the deep, lingering scars left behind by Pondo's sudden abandonment so many years ago. She recounts the immense hardship, sleepless nights, and sacrifices it took to raise her child and survive without any financial or emotional support from him. Despite the deep emotional distress caused by a sudden and uninvited presence in town, Shaliffy demonstrates a powerful, unwavering sense of internal strength. She articulates her resolve clearly, declaring that she will not allow Pondo's past failures, current regrets, or sudden reappearance to dictate her future or destroy the peaceful life she has worked so tirelessly to build from scratch. Her friend listens attentively, offering reassuring words of validation and continuous support as Shaliffy lays out her personal boundaries. She emphasizes that forgiveness cannot be demanded or rushed, especially when the person seeking it has caused years of disruption and pain. As the conversation progresses, Shaliffy's posture shifts from one of vulnerability to firm determination. She makes it explicitly clear that her primary focus remains on protecting her family's dignity and emotional stability. By the end of their meeting, Shaliffy stands firm in her decision to remain guarded, refusing to let past ghost stories undermine her present well-being. Hau finds himself deeply torn and emotionally exhausted as the public mockery surrounding his family continues to escalate across KwaMashu. Struggling to process the sudden reality of his father's past choices and the resulting public shame, He separates himself from his peer group to sit alone and contemplate his next move. The heavy burden of carrying a compromised family reputation weighs immensely on his shoulders, causing him to constantly question where his true loyalties and personal values should lie. He feels trapped directly in the middle of a bitter emotional storm, torn between the natural urge to defend his father against cruel public attacks and the painful understanding that his father's actions were genuinely wrong. Every comment overheard in the streets stings like a fresh wound, making it exceedingly difficult for him to walk around town with his head held high. As he sits in quiet reflection, Ha considers the impact this ongoing public spectacle will have on his personal relationships, long-term goals, and daily life. He recognizes that remaining silent makes him look weak, yet speaking out could drag him even deeper into a chaotic public feud that he never asked to be a part of. The intense psychological pressure leaves him feeling completely isolated, unsure of who he can trust for genuine, unbiased advice. This period of solitude highlights Ha's painful journey toward maturity as he attempts to navigate complex family ties. Inside the quiet hall of the local church, the women's ministry convenes for an unscheduled and urgent meeting behind closed doors. The air inside the room is thick with noticeable tension as senior leaders and long-standing members gather in a formal circle to voice their growing frustration regarding Feigel's recent public conduct. Whispers of quiet disapproval rapidly evolve into structured, passionate arguments about her ongoing role and moral standing within the congregation. Several influential members express deep concern that her name has become linked with continuous local controversy, which directly contradicts the strict standards and values the ministry strives to uphold. The meeting leaders argue forcefully that the church must maintain an unblemished, respectable public image in order to preserve its authority and influence within the community. They point out that allowing high-profile controversies to go unchecked sends the wrong message to younger congregants who look up to the ministry for moral guidance. While a few softer voices suggest offering private counseling and grace, the majority of the committee remains firm in their stance that decisive administrative action is required. The tone of the room grows increasingly cold and clinical as the women evaluate the potential damage to the church's reputation. The gathering serves as a clear demonstration of how organizational politics and traditional expectations can quickly create an environment where personal struggles are met with judgment rather than compassion. As the executive committee meeting of the women's ministry continues, the key leadership members present a completely unified front regarding Feigel's immediate future within the church structure. They reach a collective agreement that casual warnings and gentle diplomatic conversations are no longer effective strategies for managing the situation. The leadership group engages in a detailed discussion about the potential pushback and social backlash they might receive from Feigel's remaining loyal supporters within the broader congregation. Despite these strategic concerns, the committee members conclude that the overall stability and moral reputation of the ministry must take precedence over any individual's personal feelings or standing. They begin outlining a formal, step-by-step procedure to systematically strip her of her official duties, titles, and public speaking privileges. Plans are meticulously drafted to ensure that her removal appears entirely administrative and justified under the church's established bylaws and conduct guidelines. Every member present in the room is required to confirm their agreement, ensuring that no internal division can be exploited once the decision is publicly announced. The calculated nature of their strategy reveals the calculated maneuvers taking place behind the scenes of the religious organization. As the meeting concludes, the leaders finalize the necessary documentation, officially sealing Feigel's fate and setting in motion a series of actions that will permanently alter her standing within the community. Completely unaware of the decisive formal meeting that has just taken place behind locked doors, Feigel arrives at the church premises noticing an immediate, uncomfortable shift in the overall atmosphere. Conversations abruptly stall the second she steps into the hallway, and former allies offer unusually brief, cold greetings before quickly walking away in the opposite direction. The noticeable distance created by her peers leaves her feeling increasingly isolated, confused, and defensive in an environment where she once felt entirely secure and valued. Sensing that an organized, deliberate effort is underway to undermine her authority and reputation, Feigel attempts to engage several acquaintances to figure out what is happening. However, Her inquiries are met with awkward dodges, vague non-answers, and an impenetrable wall of silence from people she previously considered trustworthy confidants. The growing psychological tension makes every interaction feel like a test, leaving her to second-guess the true motives of everyone around her. She walks through the church corridors with a rising sense of unease, realizing that her social support structure has virtually evaporated overnight. The stark contrast between her past influence and her current isolation hits her hard, forcing her to realize how quickly loyalty can dissolve when controversy strikes. Left with no clear answers or reliable allies, Fikel is forced to brace herself for the inevitable confrontation that she knows is brewing just beneath the surface. Pondo's hopes of quietly walking through the neighborhood without incident are completely shattered when he accidentally crosses paths with a group of vocal local residents near the main thoroughfare. The chance encounter quickly degenerates into an intense verbal confrontation as the onlookers publicly call him out for neglecting his parental responsibilities for so many years. Standing his ground, Pondo attempts to defend his past choices by bringing up personal hardships, financial struggles, and regrets from that era of his life. However, his explanations fall entirely on deaf ears, as the group refuses to accept his reasoning, viewing it as nothing more than convenient self-serving excuses. The argument draws additional bystanders from nearby shops, turning the street corner into an improvised public court where Pondo is forced to hear the community's harsh verdict firsthand. The atmosphere grows increasingly hostile, with individuals speaking over one another and raising their voices to ensure their disapproval is clearly heard. Pondo realizes that no amount of explanation or logical argument can undo the years of absence that the neighborhood witnessed. Feeling completely overwhelmed by the mounting hostility and the lack of empathy from the gathering crowd, he is forced to retreat, stepping back and walking away while the sharp insults continue to echo behind him. The dramatic encounter serves as a painful reminder of his absolute alienation from the community. It does not take long for word of the women's ministry's secret decision to leak past the church doors and circulate throughout the broader KwaMashu community. Neighbors, local vendors, and churchgoers gather in small groups along the sidewalks and at local shops to discuss the dramatic shift in power. The impending removal of Fikel becomes the central topic of discussion, with people analyzing what her downfall means for the church's internal leadership and overall community influence. Opinions across town are sharply divided. Some residents express genuine sympathy for her, arguing that the ministry is treating her far too harshly and acting hypocritically. On the other hand, a large segment of the community believes the church leadership is taking a long overdue, necessary stand to preserve moral standards and maintain institutional discipline. The rapid spread of this news demonstrates how interconnected the social and religious dynamics of the neighborhood truly are, as a decision made inside a private meeting room quickly ripples out to impact public perception. As various rumors continue to expand and evolve with every retelling, the entire town becomes consumed by anticipation regarding how Fikel will react once the official announcement is made. The widespread public discourse creates an electric, tense atmosphere across the area, setting the stage for broader social consequences and deeper community divisions. Meanwhile, in a quieter corner of the neighborhood, Spook continues to wrestle with a profound internal struggle following his recent personal confessions. Sitting entirely alone in his living space, he deeply reflects on the spiritual, moral, and interpersonal consequences of the truths he has finally brought to light. He comes to the realization that while honesty was necessary for his conscience, the real-world fallout from his admission carries heavy repercussions that threaten to permanently dismantle his personal relationships and standing. The psychological weight of his choices leaves him feeling paralyzed, caught between the desire to fix the damage he caused and the terrifying reality that some bridges may be burned beyond repair. Spook carefully evaluates his limited options, contemplating whether genuine redemption is actually achievable or if his path forward will require him to sacrifice his remaining pride and social status. Every option before him seems to carry significant pain and uncertainty, making it nearly impossible to find a clear, peaceful way forward. As the silence of the room surrounds him, Spook confronts the reality that taking accountability is not a single moment, but a painful, ongoing process with long-term consequences. His intense internal conflict illustrates the personal cost of truth-telling in an environment where mistakes are heavily judged, highlighting his fragile emotional state as he prepares to face whatever consequences come next. Desperate to find a way out of his growing social isolation and restore his ruined reputation, Pondo reaches out to an old, respected acquaintance in hopes of securing an ally. He arranges a private meeting to express the intense pressure, constant hostility, and public humiliation he has been enduring from the community ever since his past was laid bare. Pondo pleads his case passionately, seeking practical advice and public support on how to manage the relentless backlash from his peers and rebuild a life in KwaMashu. However, his hopes for comfort and immediate backup are quickly dashed when the acquaintance listens calmly but responds with cold, unvarnished honesty. Rather than offering easy sympathy or taking his side, the associate explicitly warns Pondo that respect cannot be engineered or bought with smooth talk and defensive excuses. He tells Pondo directly that the community's anger is deeply rooted in genuine past wrongs, and that the only true path toward acceptance requires authentic humility, long-term patience, and total accountability for his historical mistakes. The stern advice serves as a harsh reality check for Pondo, forcing him to see that there are no quick fixes or political maneuvers that can bypass the hard work of earned redemption. He leaves the meeting feeling even more alone than before, realizing he must face the music by himself. As evening falls over KwaMashu, the episode reaches a reflective, atmospheric transition where multiple individual storylines converge around the central themes of accountability, exclusion, and social judgment. Across town, the major characters find themselves dealing with the reality of their decisions in quiet solitude. Pondo sits alone in the dim light of his living area, forced to digest the hard truth that his past actions have completely severed his ties with the community. At the exact same time, the church leadership completes the final administrative paperwork required to formalize Feikel's official removal from the ministry, finalizing a process driven by institutional self-preservation. Meanwhile, local residents continue to discuss the day's events in small gatherings, remaining deeply divided on issues of justice, forgiveness, and moral standing. The collective mood of the neighborhood is defined by unresolved tension and fractured relationships, with no clear solutions in sight for any of the parties involved. The quiet evening hours provide a temporary pause in the overt drama, but the underlying conflicts remain fully charged and ready to ignite. By leaving each storyline at a critical turning point of moral reckoning, the narrative establishes a clear bridge into future events, emphasizing that actions carry long-term weight and that true resolution within a close-knit community is a complex, painful process.